a man a while now. You know I love you. She's everything you think she's all about, and everything you dream she'll be. She lives to bring love water to your mouth. She's a bacchanal lady. She will inject you with her ramage, melt you like a noonday sun. Take your status symbol high away. She makes a milk with punch and rum. She's bacchanal lady. Sweet scandal when she walk. Bacchanal lady. Real magic when she talk. Bacchanal woman. Won't you come? Won't you make some love? She ain't a rum and Coca-Cola girl. Don't try to pull she with no jive. If you want to break down in she carnival, you talk strong, you stay alive. She neither here nor there, she everywhere. Them people say she is a tramp, but when she catch them in she atmosphere, she go shame them simple scamp. She's back on a lady. What is you hide behind your eyes? Back on a lady. Come on to me with your sweet surprise. Back on a woman, woman. Won't you come? Won't you take some love? So, well, as you could see, it's a different finish tonight because we're on the road. I have a run to make, a long trip, and so it's either we do the live while we drive, or we don't do no live at all, or we do the live midnight. We could have done that too. I don't know if you all would have been up. Tomorrow is a long day. All of us who trying to catch up. This bad weather, all the distractions. I used to have this thing I used to say every now and then. I used to write regularly. I had a blog. In fact, my blog was in a large part the foundation of a lot of people knowing me. My blog, Plain Talk with Philip Alexander, was every day I would write an article, and out of that, and I did that for a couple of years, and I wrote, at last check, over 1 million words. And so I have pretty much the last half of Manning's term and the first half of Kamla Prasad Bissasa's term documented in a blog. You all hearing me, right? Hope all hearing me, you know. And because I talking. Anyway, I had this thing called the Jack Awards. That was a regular thing. Once a month, people used to tune in to see who winning the Jack Award. There another thing I used to do called Trinidad is not a real place. I used to write columns in the Mirror, and I've written columns that said, this is not a real country. You all have heard me say on radio and on TV, this is not a real country, this is not a real place. And I see that and all get legs. Somebody just sent me a list of things that say, this is not a real place. There are times that I wonder if I live in some kind of Forrest Gump existence, that my role is to channel and put these things in the public space. I don't know. I don't know if I should feel proud that Trinidadians waking up and speaking up. I don't know. But watching what took place at UWI today, I was very proud of those youths, because they stood up and they've been asking for security. They've been demanding security. This is a country that find Natalie Polony and pat itself on his back and forget this Sukdeo girl and all the rest of the women that missing. It's like, I don't know what to say about Trinidad and Tobago again. This is not a real country. In a real country, if you rescue Natalie Polony, you would be cognizant of the fact. And I want to give Gary Griffith some applause for dealing with issues that Stephen Williams, for some reason, failed to address. A lot of issues in the public space. But I want to say this. Now, I know public office could affect how you view life. It's easy to get caught up in the, what to say, the whole view from the top, that you forget what it felt like and looked like at the bottom. And somebody said to me, all of the toes that you're stepping on and all of the that you're going on the way up, all of them, you gotta meet on the way back down. And all public office holders have to remain cognizant of that. If you're in public office, you're gonna want a legacy. You're gonna want people to remember when you served. And you're gonna want to leave something for people to remember. And I want at the best of times. But if you see interruptions in the video, hold your corner, stay in your lane, know that I'm gonna wait it out, and we'll do it over. Or we'll continue it when the internet comes back. When they do that little interruption, it's bump off people. So I mean, I don't have to tell you all by now to share the video. I am one of the admins in Stand Up TNT. And when I go to Stand Up TNT, because in Stand Up TNT, we have to approve the posts. And after my live video, there's about 20 people posted to Stand Up TNT. So I know that you all share the video. Anyway, the point I want to make is this. You have to be aware of the position that you take on everything, so that you do not come across like having one policy for one and another policy for another. I think the nation deserved a press conference from the Attorney General, the Minister of National Security, and the Commissioner of Police on the rest of the women who are out there missing. Because the Attorney General and the Minister of National Security, Faris Al-Rawi and Stuarty Boy Young, erased the separation of powers when the police rescued Natalie Polony and come and put themselves in the interview. So if you want to put yourself in that interview, then have the decency to talk about everybody. There is a list of women that are missing. Account for them. I'm trying to remember if this girl name is Sharon Sukdeo. She seems to have become a poster girl because her son doesn't stop and her husband don't stop talking about the child crying for mommy every night still. And at some point, I don't want to see little small boys on social media playing for a head rub or getting all $20 in their pocket at the end of the week, posting and pipsing everybody. I want real fact. I want a Ministry of National Security that accounts to the people. It used to be so when Gary was minister. I want a Commissioner of Police Office or a Trinidad and Tobago Police Service that comes to the people and says, these are the issues that we are addressing. We don't have that. And we need that. The country, and no matter what happens, the people of Trinidad and Tobago remain the single most important decision makers in the country. The people of Trinidad and Tobago, we get to decide what kind of country we live in. And when I watched those UE students today, before I even thought that they would have sent police, because it was such a stupid move. It was such an idiotic move. I tell you, if I was the police officer in charge, if I was the ranking officer, I'd have leave them. I'd have direct all the traffic and leave them. Rara, make your noise, vent your spleen. I'd have make sure I'd direct the traffic and I'd allow them to bend their spleen. Because an inspector of police went on TV on Hema's show and talked about marching is sedition and protesting is sedition. But it seemed to be one law for the PNM and another law for everybody else. Because Rowley march his ass all over this country. Rowley bad talk everybody in this country. Rowley lie on everybody in this country. Rowley make a mockery of public office. How come Rowley wasn't charged? Keith Rowley overdue for a charge. When that inspector said on Hema Ramkissoon's show that any act that deliberately slows down traffic that is planned and organized is sedition, or it could be sedition, Hema Ramkissoon is not a real journalist, because a real journalist would have asked, so the people who organized the day of total policing, all of them going to be charged? But nobody asked that question. And Hema is not the right person. Hema is not the right person, because Hema only have that job every morning to put on all the powder on her face to please Sabga's men in power. Because Sabga News Network is a propaganda machine. Nothing from Guardian Media you could trust. But this inspector went to say that marching and protesting is sedition. Rowley marched his ass all over the country. He and Abdullah and Roger and OWTU, they drag. You see, this is what is getting me vexed. I don't want to be defending Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC, but if Ansel Roger and the OWTU could have dragged a mannequin dressed in a yellow sari all over this country and denigrate it, and they don't get charged, do not stunt for the public. Do not come and tell the public what is a charge, because then that is a double standard, and then the entire nation should take the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service before the Equal Opportunities Commission. Because you can't have one law for one and another law for another. And you cannot tell me that the laws don't work. You cannot tell me that the systems are broken. I want to tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago, you have the power. The systems that we have are determined by you. The laws that we have are determined by you. Put a government in office that works for you, that will make and write law, that will serve you. Put a government in power that will fix the systems and make Trinidad and Tobago functional. Put that government in office. You get to decide. You cannot live in a country that does not work and then throw your hands in the air. There is a way and a means to fix everything. And that is why you hear I don't take on Bastio Pandey and his stupidness with constitutional reform. Because yes, there are things that need amending in our constitution. Yes, there are. But our constitution is still a sound document. And we could return to the constitution and undo and redo the madness that is Trinidad and Tobago. The Integrity Commission needs teeth. You need to amend the Integrity in Public Life Act so that if Parliament is called and members of Parliament are not in good standing with the Integrity Commission, have documents outstanding for the Integrity Commission, the Speaker of the House should not be allowed to recognize them. You cannot come in the House because you are in violation and in breach of the Integrity in Public Life Act. That one thing. Recall legislation. If the people of Cascade, St. Anne's and Port of Spain North tonight had the ability to fire Stuart Young just over water, they'd have fired Stuart Young. And if members of Parliament knew that the people of your constituency were writing a petition to get you fired, recalled from Parliament because you are failing to represent them, they would do their jobs. But Bastio Pandey is a hypocrite because he had 2 terms. You all may not know that. They were not 2 full terms, but he had 2 terms. He was sworn in twice. And Bastio Pandey had every opportunity to make recall law because Bastio Pandey went to school in England. And Bastio Pandey knows the Commonwealth law. He's a lawyer. He may be an actor, and he acts as a lawyer. And I'm a bush lawyer, and I know more law than most of them. I know the Constitution front to back because I rely on that as the supreme law. And from there, we write all law. That is why when they tell you that they're going for judicial review, or if something is not constitutional, you could check to see if the law that they're using to prosecute somebody, you could check to see if that law is sound under the Constitution, if it was never tested before. Look at what happened with Jason Jones and that buggery law. It was proven to be unconstitutional and struck down. The Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is the most important document we have. Tell me why Patrick Manning, Basdeo Pandey, Kamla Persad-Bissessar and Keith Rowley have not given the people recall legislation. Tell me why. Tell me why. If you could answer that for me, I will, let me tell you. Because what I don't understand is how all of these charlatans were allowed to masquerade. Were allowed to masquerade as leaders, as prime ministers, and leave the country in a worse mess than they met it. Somebody wrote an article in the Newsday today. Is it time for a PEP talk, or does the nation need PEP? And the answer is yes. People tell you everybody's make promises. The PEP is not making promises. We are telling you that if we were in office, this is what would be done. We're telling you that these are our plans, programs, policies, and ideas. And that if we, them blue lights will give somebody a seizure one of these days, you know. Do they have to be so bright? Anyway, the Progressive Empowerment Party is not like the other parties that come to you at election time and make a, like all of a sudden the UNC is remembering to make promises to you. We came out the gate. This is why the rest of the small parties are trying to masquerade as the PEP. You have to ignore them, because the Progressive Empowerment Party came out the gate with a brand, a slogan, a manifesto, an office. We are opening our south, east, and north offices to work together with our headquarters, and then we are going to be opening Central and Tobago. This is an organization that came to the people of this country with a plan. How do you rescue Trinidad and Tobago? What is broken that needs fixing? You're supposed to be able to ask any politician, no matter who they are, ask them if they form themselves into a political party and they're trying to get you to join them. Ask them critical questions. Ask them, what is your legislative agenda? What is your food policy? What is your education policy? What is your healthcare policy? What is your procurement policy? How would you bring transparency and integrity in public life back to government? What would you put in place to safeguard the rights of citizens? How would you protect the animals? How would you protect the environment? What would you do to ensure that everybody who wants a job could get one? What would you do to ensure that everybody who has a job and would like to own a home could buy one? These are the questions you have to ask. What would you do about water? How will you get us water 24/7? We are aware enough that there is enough water in this country for everybody to have water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Why do we have a water truck racket? How will you fix that? What will you do to ensure that the drug trafficking and the human trafficking and the gun trafficking stops? Ask these questions. When the Progressive Empowerment Party, when they ask us questions and we hand them policies at a glance, it's just 21. We grabbed 21 out of the manifesto. The manifesto is called Reboot the Republic. Hear the name. Reboot the Republic. And when they ask, what's your plans? We hand you a sneak peek. 21 policies at a glance. And when you look at those holistic policies and how they dovetail with each other, you realize that this is an organization that has studied the condition of the country and how it is affecting the people, and has come up with workable plans, policies, programs, solutions. And then, as if that were not enough, said to the nation, every Saturday at noon, come and drill us on our policies. Come and have your say. Come and ask any question you want. You could come in off the street and say, Philip, I hear so and so about you. I will defend myself. There is no other political party in this country that transparent. We do these live videos almost every night. This is the second one for the day. But we do these videos to inform, educate, and empower. The job is, the mission is to get you to tell others, listen, it's so, but it don't have to be so. You understand? If you went in KFC and you buy KFC and it tastes nasty, you will stop buying fried chicken from everybody because KFC tastes nasty? No. And you go KFC and it's nasty, and then you go Royal Castle and it's nasty, and you say, well boy, KFC was nasty and Royal Castle nasty too. Let me go back and check and see if KFC is still nasty. No, you go find other people who selling fried chicken because you don't want nasty chicken. And I'm using that as an analogy. Why you going back for nasty politics? The PNM failed under Eric Williams. You bring the NAR. The NAR was basically the ULF, which was the sugar workers that Bastio Pandey conned into being the UNC. But the NAR, the National Alliance for Reconstruction, was basically the UNC, the COP, which is the ONR at the time was the COP. Trinidad has organized itself into a middle class, which ONR and COP represented. Black PNM, Indian UNC, ULF, wherever. To make a government in 1986. Tapia House Movement, which was the intellectuals from UE. ONR, which was Carl Hudson Phillips and the middle class. Democratic Action Congress, which was Arthur Napoleon, Raymond Robinson, and Pamela Nicholson from Tobago. And the United Labour Front, which was Bastio Pandey and Rafiq Shah and the rest of the Sugar Union. And they came together and formed the National Alliance for Reconstruction. And in 2 years, the Indian faction and the African faction fall out. And Bastio Pandey say he taking his people and go. And people followed him and formed Club 88. 2 years before the coup. And I had to remind Fazir that it's not the coup in 1990 that destroyed the NAR, that destroyed it. But Bastio Pandey and Robinson couldn't get along. The two of them couldn't get along to the point where Krokro sang, two Borat can't live in the same hole. I remember that song. The nation that we need to have has to be able to ask, how did we go from the nasty politics of racism and corruption, and how do we go back and forth? How many times is the United Labour Front, Club 88, UNC, People's Partnership, how much times are they going to be allowed to change their names and come and fool you with the same blasted sour wine in new skin? How many times? Ask yourself. The PNM get annihilated by the NAR 33-3. The PNM get annihilated by the People's Partnership 29-12. Why are they going back there? Where are the decent people in Trinidad and Tobago to stand up and say, PNM is shit, UNC is shit, let's start a new party not built on shit? It is so mind-boggling that these little handfuls of people could have conned and corralled this nation and kept it in servitude for 56 years. When black people said they won, when Eric Williams won, black people didn't win nothing. They still had to come and march with black power uprising in the country to get rights, to get the ability to get jobs. And then the same ONR, Carl Hudson Phillips, wrote this draconian Public Order Act that the police relied on today to function the way they function. I am sorry. In a real country, those students had every right to march. Donald Trump was president for a week and 90 million women hit the road. Hit the freaking road and call him all kind of name. Gallivant themselves. Madonna talk one set of shit. CNN broadcast it. MSNBC broadcast it. For about a week, all you were seeing was that march. Why it is in this country, we are so opposed to democracy. A progressive empowerment party government will seek out all that remains of that Public Order Act and abolish it from law. As long as you are not breaking the law, march. As long as you are not breaking the law, speak up. The country could only benefit from more democracy. I have a lot of people in politics that I do not like, but I will never silence them. I love that saying. I may not agree with what you say, but I will fight to the death for your right to say it. That is the kind of country we need. We've never had a real leader. Eric Williams was a charlatan and a shithong, and he was followed by a lineup of racist and corrupt leaders. We have never had a prime minister in this country that put the needs of the people first. Not one. Not one. You're trying to tell me that the Minister of Education does not understand his role and responsibility where the safety, security, and protection of the nation's children is? That is his responsibility. As Minister of Education, that is his responsibility. Why is he still in that job? When this boy got a heart attack outside this hospital in St. James, when he got a heart attack and died because the system didn't allow them to come outside and rescue him, the Minister of Health should have been fired. How is that the system in health in this country? Public health costs $5 billion a year. Education costs $5 billion a year, and we get nothing for it. Anyway, we've said all of this so many times. I keep saying it because I know that there are new people that come on the live from time to time, and they need to hear it too. And then people ask, well, what will you all do? What would you do? The Progressive Empowerment Party will bring government back to the people. We will abolish local government. If you give us the seats to do it, we will abolish local government and replace it with a constituency board of supervisors so that each of the 41 constituencies would have supervisors of public health, education, public utilities, public works and security to take care of all of the things that citizens need to make a life. After that, we would facilitate the creation of a finance vehicle uniting Unit Trust, First Citizens Bank and the Home Mortgage Bank to offer first-time homeowners the ability to purchase a home up to $1.5 million, zero deposit, zero interest for 30 years. And that is revolutionary because that will make each $100,000 value in the house $500. So that means a minimum wage earner could buy a $100,000 house on the $2,250 a month they make. They could be paying a mortgage on a $100,000 house. And people say, but Philip, you're talking shit. Where you get a house for $100,000 in this country? When I show them that the average house is not worth more than $200,000, they're shocked. That the biggest, the most opulent house you see, 50% of it is bank fees and bank charges. So if it's $1 million, it comes down to $500,000. And next 50% of that, of what remains, is duties, stamp duty, tax, VAT. If you remove that from basic construction material, $1 million house could come down to $100,000. A government that cares would make home ownership the most important pillar in its government. Not use the HTC or NHA or create some other bullshit vehicle and call it housing for all, when what you're doing is building $100,000 house and selling it to people for $800,000 and paying your finances $1 million. It's just ways and means to take advantage of people's needs. That is all these people do. They divide the nation and they take advantage of the people's needs. You have a Minister of Agriculture, Clarence Rambarat. I am so ashamed that I know you. Clarence Rambarat, you are the Minister of Agriculture. You're trying to tell me that it was so easy for you to throw your name and your integrity away, that you would get into government and you get an opportunity to serve the people after all the years and columns you write, after functioning as people professor in Canada, teaching them in Canada as a lawyer. You trying to tell me, Clarence Rambarat, that you don't have enough integrity for you to tell the government of which you are a part, either let me do the job as a Minister of Food Production or fire me. But we don't have that. And that is the saddest thing of all. And I think that is what has so many people so jaded. Because governments come and governments go, and all they offer you is stunting and bullshit. Lies upon lies. When they go, the next side come and tell you how much they stole. But this side, don't bring none of them to justice. So Rowley bringing Kamala to justice, and Kamala didn't bring Manning to justice, and Manning didn't bring Pandey to justice, and Pandey went in jail for 2 days. It can't continue. Can't continue like this. It cannot. Those children at UE today who were protesting at that gateway, the government was supposed to reach out to them. Those are future leaders in this country. We're supposed to reach out to them and ask, what would make you students reach to be putting yourself in politics down by the front, by the south gate, block the gate, protest? What would bring you to here? Tell us the issues so we could address it. What needs happening? I hear a principal telling the people, and I want to say, fire this stunting son of a bitch. He is telling the people that it is easy to secure a building, but this is a village. And I want to say, but this is a jackass. How did you end up with a jackass as the principal of the university? Because you could secure anything. And you have the money to secure it. You get the money to secure it. So what you're saying is that you're failing at securing it. Don't say that you can't secure it. There's an Air Force base in the United States as big as Trinidad. They secure that. You can't fly over it. You can't come near it. Come on, man. Stop accepting foolishness from these people. Anyway, the purpose of this video tonight, more than anything, is to say to the UE students, I, Philip Edward Alexander, I stand with you. I join your call for better security at the campus. You deserve it. It is your right. Your next protest should be stand down. But the entire nation needs to stand with you. I don't know if we're going to get to there. I don't know if it will happen in my lifetime. But that needs to be the goal. One people under one flag. The day we get to there, the day the racism and the other special interests stop dominating the conversation, the day everybody starts seeing everything from a Trinidad and Tobago perspective and not from a sectarian or special interest, from my own agenda, from my own corner, from my own people, from my own race, from my own religion, from my own class, from my own gender, stop that shit. All of us need to row in the same direction on the critical and important things. If we have as our foundation stone the well-being of all the citizens is the function and purpose of government, then we will make sure that everybody's needs get met. And we have to stop being judgmental and shaming. We have to stop doing that. And we have to start working with each other, pulling together in the same direction for a better Trinidad and Tobago. That is the only way out of this madness. Understand, the division has not worked for you. No race can win and the other race lose in a plural society and everybody be happy. At its core, that is a prescription for national unhappiness. This Saturday at noon, at 19 Stanmore Avenue, the headquarters of the Progressive Empowerment Party, we invite everybody to join with us as we try to unite this nation as one people under one flag and present a continuous conversation about a way forward, the how, who, where, why, what, and when. Come and add your voice. Don't just sit on the sideline and criticize. Don't be jaded. We still have to live here unless you're leaving. And if you're leaving, bon voyage. But if you're staying, we had to fix it because we had to live here. And to the people who are abroad, to all the Trinidadians who left and are watching me from overseas, who are living in first world nations but missing home, if you could imagine this country, your Trinidad and Tobago, developed and functional, that is what the Progressive Empowerment Party promises you. I want my legacy and that of this party to be an organization that broke the race divide in this country and fixed Trinidad and Tobago to the betterment and benefit of all. If you want a better Trinidad and Tobago, come and join us this Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. I ain't playing no music to finish the video. Go and play all your own music because I'm driving. But seriously, put aside the distractions now. Focus on politically. When you're having a political conversation, focus on how do we get from where we are to where we want to be. Where do we want to be? The vision is a first world developed nation where systems and laws work to the betterment and service of all the people. Where the roads don't have to feel like you're driving through the bocas. Where water flows from your taps without guilt and regret. We need that type of vision for a better Trinidad and Tobago. David Rudder called it paradise on earth convincingly. If you want that for yourself, for your future, for your children, if you want that to be what we leave behind after we go, Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. There is no other organization in this country structured and built on such sound principles. Things like integrity and morality and character. People use those things as a stepping stone to get themselves in the position and then discard and forget them. We are built on them. They are the legs we stand on. Come and see for yourself. Most people will tell you one visit to the PEP on a Saturday is all it takes for you to sign up and join. This is your party and its purpose is a betterment of your country. To those foreign-based, if you want a better Trinidad and Tobago, you can't vote for us unless you're coming at election time. You can't come and volunteer with us, and we need that. But you could help us financially. Felicia and Satish and Kenneth Luke and the rest of the finance team, Kenneth Luke is seconded from the advisory council, and he and his people are helping with the fundraising. Help us. 10 US a month, 20 US a month, 5,000 US a month if you could afford it. Whatever you could afford, bet on it. Bet on us. Look at the volume of work that we put out. Look at that. Quantify that as a value. Try and put a value to the amount of work that the Progressive Empowerment Party puts out, and you will be ashamed that you're not dipping in your pocket right now and sending 500 US dollars. Because we work very, very hard. I live this. Politics, I live my fight for a better Trinidad and Tobago. Tomorrow, I'm in court, fight for Trinidad and Tobago. All day. All day. But there's a whole other conversation. The conversation right now is, how do you help? If you are in Trinidad and Tobago and you could help us financially, give us some money. If you could volunteer and you have skill sets, come and volunteer. This is not our party, this is your party. This is nobody else, no one person country. This is all of us country. We have a responsibility to it. We have a responsibility to our democracy. We have a responsibility to fix our country so that when we die, the people that we leave behind not living in a shithole. The Trinidad and Tobago we want is on the other side of the political decisions we make. And if you want a better Trinidad and Tobago, this Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue, please share all of the posts. Please share all of the pages. Please share all of the videos. Share them constantly. Hit like, hit share, comment. It interferes with the algorithm that they're trying to suppress, and it puts it back in people's face. Come at it from a functional approach that we are going to spread this message, and we are going to bypass every attempt to silence us. Trinidad and Tobago, we have a responsibility to this country. I stand with you. Let's stand together. See you on Saturday. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.